Welcome to our Friday show. This is our FOC show where we preview and you can pre-order all the latest and greatest upcoming comics. These are open order, meaning you can order as many as you want. So if you see what you think is going to be Star Wars High Republic on repeat, then you can order yourself a couple copies.
And of course, we're going to tell you our opinions. We'll tell you about the books. We'll tell you if we think they're going to be hot, all that.
I've got some hot takes.
Yeah, this is a big one. So we got a lot of really cool books to talk about. So I guess let's go ahead and get going.
Into it.
And to start us off, we have Star Wars: The High Republic #2.
Oh my, that #1.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about for feels like months now. Star Wars hasn't been this hot in comics and ever now.
Hottest property out
there. This could surpass the original kind of run.
Thank you, Mandalorian.
Yes. So, if you were lucky enough to pick up #1, which is very hard to get now, they are doing the second printing's already sold out, and they're going on to a third printing. So they're going to make sure you're able to read this. But this is for issue #2. Issue #1 came out this Wednesday, and it was awesome. If you don't know what the High Republic is, it's this new kind of publishing venture for Star Wars that is set about 200 years before the Phantom Menace. And it is kind of a take on, like it says, the High Republic. This is when everyone's at their peak. This is when the Jedi and the Republic are working hand in hand. Things are great until there is a big disaster, which is actually written about in a novel, but this kind of is a side story to that, focused on the Starlight Base, which is a kind of a beacon in the far edges of the galaxy that's kind of like there to be like, hey, if you're far away in the galaxy, we come in peace, you can follow this beacon and find your way to the core worlds and everything. Well, the first issue was crazy because it kind of followed a Padawan becoming a knight, and then something crazy happens at the end, which that cover kind of reveals. But if you haven't heard us say it enough, this is probably the hottest book out right now. Yep. We're probably going to get a lot of printings.
If that doesn't grab you, it has a lot of first appearances. #1 had a ton of first appearances. Will #2? We'll just have to see. But I do know this: I'm signed up to get more than one of these.
Yes. So this is issue #2. My advice: get on the series now. See if you can get a first, second, third printing of #1, and go ahead and put yourself down for this. It was originally supposed to be a mini-series. Before issue 1 even came out, they said, no, forget that. This is an ongoing series.
I had no idea. You know so many things. Like,
if it's about Star Wars, I know almost everything about it.
You do. Speaking of which, and more High Republic.
Yes, we have Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures. So IDW tends to take some of what Marvel traditionally has. Like Marvel has Star Wars. IDW does they call it all ages. They call it all ages, but don't let that diminish the storytelling in it. This isn't kids' books. This is just kind of more accessible stories set in that galaxy. This looks really cool. This is about a apprentice going to a planet to help save the people there because there's just been this big disaster. And what's significant about this one is there's also a story. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the same story or a backup story, but Yoda is also going there to help. So this is your little bit younger Yoda.
Younger Yoda, yes.
He's a little bit more, he appeared in High Republic #1 a little bit. He's a little bit more hands-on. This is back when he was more of like in the field,
right?
Before he cozied up in his chair and just sat there for the rest of his life. But this is another one you'll want to get on because I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this one because it's an adventurous title or it's IDW and not Marvel. But this is also going to be the first appearances of a lot of people. It's going to be great storytelling. The writer of this one is a very proven writer. I'm trying to remember who it is. I forget off the top of my head, but they've hand selected all the creative teams for this, and the interior art is the art you see on the cover there, so it's going to be really, really good.
See, this is what Comics from the Future is all about. Like, we're telling you about something, it's available for order. So instead of like, we had people marching in, the day after release of High Republic #1 being like, I want 10 copies if you have it. It's like, if you watched our show back then, you could have ordered 10. It was open order. This is open order. You can have as many as you want. What I was wondering is, most times the IDW Adventure series follows the regular series so far out that the characters have been established. You said there might be first appearances with it coming out so close.
Yeah.
That was sort of what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's interesting because you have the idea of this High Republic. There's some that you can even look online. There's concept art for like maybe 8 or 9 key Jedi, and they're each have their own thing. So the novel by Charles Soule kind of is the main thing that takes these. Then we have the High Republic, the main book from Marvel that has the Master and Apprentice that seem to be kind of the spearhead. But then this one is going to have its own cast, and they're all really intertwined. All the creative teams have worked really close together to create this. So you will have some first appearances in everything that's going to be a High Republic book.
All right, well, you heard that here. I'm going to get a
ton
of those.
So you can't blame me if you miss out on it. I told you all about it.
Once again, that exactly what Comics from the Future is about.
We need shirts that just say, we're getting too cocky. I was going to say, Comics from the Future. We told you so.
Okay, speaking of other things we talked about before, they are doing Amazing Spider-Man #55, the second printing. So the first printing, we showed it off. We oohed and awed on that show. Awesome. We were like, this is a big one.
Yes.
We ordered a ton. It still wasn't enough. There were still, there's a lot of people who, for some reason, don't watch the show, and then they come in and they want it. Anyway, so this is, noticed all of you who do watch, this is available for order as of this week. You have until Monday to get us your order. It is a beautiful second print. I mean, the first print looked great. This one, I guess it depends on if you like white better or you like red better.
I don't know. Like, I really like the red.
If you're colorblind, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, really pretty.
So I don't really have much to say about the book otherwise. I mean, this is definitely one that sold for the cover. It's been compared. Funny enough, usually things are compared with other things within its same universe. But honestly, this cover, I've heard it most compared to that Jock Detective Comics cover.
With the Joker face with the bats.
And in the way that it's an A cover, everyone knows it's good, but no matter how much the retailers order, just people clamor for it. It's worth more, and just everybody holds on to it. So here's everyone's chance to get the second print on that.
All right, up next we have Avengers mech-strike.
Something new.
Right, something new. This is #1 of a 5-part miniseries, and in this miniseries we have the Avengers getting mech suits, and the suits have powers that sort of correspond to their own. So you could tell by the cover what this is. It looks really fun. It looks like, we were saying, just sort of like toy based. So it looks like it's going to be lighthearted, all ages, and like Andy said, that doesn't diminish from what the story is going to be, but it's just a different flavor. And we do see Marvel sort of like, I don't know, going in this direction, a little bit more manga here and there, a little bit more influence from other things. So this seems to be in that vein as well. So
I hope in this one everyone gets a mech suit, and Iron Man, he doesn't need one, but then he looks at theirs and is like, fine, I'll go redesign.
Well, he's got the Hulk
because
buster.
I do see it.
I just like the idea that like Hulk is like, Hulk needs one that looks like Hulk, and they're like, you're strong by yourself, like you could actually be stronger outside of this.
The armor's not as strong
contains
as
you.
him.
He's like, Hulk feels left out, so they build him one too. What's cool about this too is almost like Marvel Zombies, you get the core team, but maybe they'll expand it. Like, Deadpool's going to get a mech suit at some point. It's going to be
some humor.
Goofy. And
For sure. That would be great. And as you know, this, like I said, it's a 5-part series, so you can let us know if you just want to try the #1 or go ahead and commit to the full series. Either way, it's up to you. Just know you have the option. Oh, and here's some variant covers. Let's see what variants we have. All right. Ooh, how to pronounce this? It's the SNG variant. The snug variant. I'm going to call it that.
Say, like, sing?
All right. That's the SNG variant. Then we have the Sue variant right here.
Cool, stand in front
you
of
can see
their
this.
mechs.
Yeah,
sort
I like
of,
showing off.
Sort of Voltron style.
Pretty cool in the chamber.
Yeah.
And then we have the toy variant.
I love this one because it straight up just looks like a poster for Transformers.
I totally see that. Yes.
So yeah, pick the cover you want or stick with the A cover. These are the ones that are available.
Next up, we have our first King in Black tie-in of the week. King in Black's still going on. I think this one is really cool because King in Black Black Knight, we know that Black Knight kind of plays a bigger part in this than I think we originally thought. So if you're reading Symbiote Spider-Man, you see that Black Knight is in it.
Yep.
We learned that his ebony blade is maybe something that can actually hurt
Null,
otherwise
invincible.
Null's dragons.
Yeah.
Well, this takes place like in the current timeline when Null is attacking, and he may have the ebony blade that works great against these things, but also when he uses it, it kind of fuels this like lust for violence. So he kind of has to grapple with that. What's going to be cool in this too is he is in Shanghai, teamed up with Arrow and Swordmaster.
Huh.
So pulling in some of the characters from
the very very new characters, the ones that were created and made
what's
by
the book? Their team book.
Agents of Atlas.
Agents of Atlas, yeah. So I think it's really cool they're bringing that in there. Clearly, Swordmaster's going to have something to say about this sword. He's the master of swords. He's going to say something. But I think this is going to be really, really cool just to see what they even tease what is Black Knight's he has something to do with Null. In their history, there's something, and you can tell probably because of his sword, but they're going to be exploring that.
Yeah, and those of you interested, you might want to pick up Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black, because like Andy said, Black Knight's in it. That story is set in the past, and it leaves Black Knight in a very precarious position. So I'm wondering if this goes back. My bet is no. If Arrow's in it, and Swordmaster, that means this is
during the current invasion.
So I'm very interested to see what has happened between that tale and this one.
Yeah, we got a few variants. We have the Says variant.
Yeah, there's Arrow and Swordmaster on
the
sides there.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then I believe we have one more. Yep, and this is the Sue variant. So. E.J. Sue has a variant for this book also.
All right, sticking with the King in Black stuff, we also have King in Black Marauders. So Captain Kate, as she calls herself, Captain Kate Pride and her crew are going to go up against the forces of Null. As everybody knows who's reading King in Black, which is majority of the people who shop here, I think, and watch the show. Yeah, Null isn't just attacking one place. I mean, it's the whole planet. So everybody's pulled into this. And so, Captain Kate Pride has her team. They have their ship. So they're going to help out. So if you like her and the Marauders and those characters, you want to know what they're doing during this, that is what this is for.
I definitely want to see what does Null's forces against Krakoa look like. Because Krakoa can defend itself. I think how the X-Men are going to factor into this is going to be pretty earth-shaking for them too.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too. I don't know if that'll be in this, just because of the fact that she can't really get into Krakoa.
Yeah.
So it'll probably end up being somewhere else. But I totally agree with you. That would be one of the toughest places for him to attack, considering all the mutants that are concentrated there. So this has a variant cover that was not released in time for our show. So tisk tisk, Marvel. We give you deadlines, but anyway, we just like everyone to know when there is variant covers in case you want them. We pull them together literally right up until the minutes that we play the show. So this probably won't be released until it is out. Yeah. But now you know there is a variant in case you want it.
Okay, Legend of Shang-Chi. I did some research on this. It looks like it's a one-shot. I did not see a number 2 solicited yet, so I'm going to call this a one-shot. Legend of Shang-Chi. It says Deadly Hands versus Deadly Blades. In this, someone has been stealing weapons of mass destruction, and Shang-Chi has to find and obviously defeat this threat, but he also has to go toe-to-toe with Lady Deathstrike in the midst of it. So, interesting little one-shot here.
Ex-lover sometimes, Lady Deathstrike.
So, yeah, if you've been enjoying the regular Shang-Chi series, you might want to pull this as well.
They're definitely trying to bring Shang-Chi in the forefront of your mind and get him back out there since we know there's a movie coming.
Yes.
Which I think is great because he's kind of been a neglected character for a while, not really showing up anywhere.
I know what you mean. Like, the people who come and ask you about Shang-Chi are usually sort of the old school comic collectors.
Yeah.
It's great. They're revitalizing.
Yeah.
There's only one variant for this, and that is the Lim variant. Lim. So, pretty cool. So let me know which one you want if you want to pull this issue.
On to DC this week. I'm excited about this. This has actually been in the background on my phone for a little while.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is a really fun cover, especially with their expressions. This is DC Love is a Battlefield. As they did with the Halloween, as they do with the Christmas, DC likes to do these holiday anthologies, which, as we learned with the Christmas one, turned out to be a pretty big deal because it introduced a new character.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is, of course, multiple stories about love and relationships, but also them not going too well. So it's 80 pages. It's $9.99, but I thought it's interesting. So there's a Batman Catwoman story. There is a Wonder Woman Steve Trevor. There's a Harley and Ivy story. There is a Mr. Miracle and Big Barda with art by Rob Gilroy, who I love anytime he does anything. That'll be super fun. I also thought it was cool. There is a Hawkman Hawkwoman story written by Cavan Scott, who is the writer on High Republic.
Huh.
So interesting.
If you're like, hey, what's this guy done? He used to be working more on Star Wars Adventures, but now he's got that at Marvel, and he's got a story here on DC. So I think he's definitely someone to watch out for, breaking into like the big two and everything. There's also a Jon Stewart story in this by John Ridley, who is doing Next Batman and other history of the DC universe. So this isn't just, their D tier writers. Like, they got really big writers on this to tell these stories, and I feel like you're always kind of come out of these surprised with, oh, they kind of revealed something in this, or there's a new character. But other than that, these are just really fun one-off stories.
Yeah, this is another good one for Comics for the Future because as a comic store, we are Infinity Flux, of course. We never know how many of these to order. They're a one shot. They're $9.99, and so it's risky to order like hundreds of these.
Yeah.
So it's good to test the water. So if you know you're going to be interested, let us know. That lets us know how interested the public is.
Yeah, don't come in expecting there to be just a ton on the shelf because it is a $9.99 book. It takes up more space. It's more expensive.
But it's at least triple size.
80 pages. So it's going to be big. Plus, you got this beautiful cover.
When I was reading about all the stories, it was sort of Hawkman and Hawkwoman and stuff. Well, the one that caught my eye was Sergeant Rock, and there wasn't anyone with him. Is it him loving his gun? Is it... That one actually made me laugh.
Yeah.
I really want to see what is Sergeant Rock in love with.
He's just leaned up against a tree, just like, I don't need love.
I love war. Battle.
Well, that's what Love is a Battlefield. He's out on the battlefield of love.
I guess that makes sense.
Perfect.
Okay, also from DC, they're beginning a 5-issue Man-Bat miniseries. This was originally slated for October, and it got pushed back. I think it would have been even more appropriate in October, because look at it. It looks very horror-based.
Mm-hmm.
So Kirk Langstrom, he has been fighting for ages against a serum that has turned him into Man-Bat. He's not a bad guy,
Right.
You feel bad for him. He doesn't want to turn into a bat at night and do all the bad things he does. Well, what this series proposes is he has had it. He has tried every which way to fix himself, and he finally gives in, becomes Man-Bat, and just full-on becomes a villain.
Wow.
Yeah, he takes out all of his anger that he's had bottled up, all of his animalistic tendencies, and he attacks Gotham and everybody in it.
That's really interesting, because you always think, how is Man-Bat like a super threat? Like, he's scary, but he's only one guy. It's cool to see that he's like, nope.
They're going to show you in this. So, 5-issue series, what if Man-Bat just totally went evil? Kirk Langstrom stops fighting against himself. Sort of a horror what-if series. So, as the first cover of the first 5 issues. There's also a variant cover by Kevin Nolan. Yes. So whereas we have the A cover where he's looking buff and scary, and this one it's a little bit more like the way
that's interesting too
really
because recently he's been a member of Justice League Dark. Like he's like a kind of nerdy scientist.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm wondering if this is in like current continuity or kind of back a little bit, but always more Man-Bat stories are a good thing.
As great as he's been in all the comics, I really like the Batman animated series.
Oh yeah.
So, and in that you can see why he's a danger. I mean, he's like kicking Batman's butt until he holds back.
All right, speaking of some horror stories, we have from Image Comics and Mirka Andolfo, Deep Beyond. This is a 12-part series, as she likes to do, 12-part maxi series. It's sort of a Lovecraftian underwater horror and sci-fi story, and it takes place in a future that the Millennium Bug, which I guess you can interpret in many ways. There is a preview of this available, but anyway, it has left the Earth just underpopulated, and a small team of scientists are sort of responsible for handling the current population, but it doesn't seem like they're handling it very well. So yeah, this is, if you like Mirka Andolfo's other series, so Mercy, Unsacred, things like that, this seems a little bit different for her, honestly.
This is very, I got to see a full preview of the whole issue, where her stuff tends to lean maybe gothic romance, horror. This is very, I think most of it takes place in a submarine.
Right.
It's way more horror, and like you said, Lovecraftian. There are clearly on the cover tentacles.
Yeah.
But still, her amazing artwork in it. I mean, anything Mirka Andolfo is top notch.
Agreed. And I like Mirka Andolfo's stuff for not only is she just a very good storyteller, but she usually has a layer of, it's buried deep in there, but there's a layer of social commentary to it that I think she does really well. So it keeps driving the story and keeps you connected to it. So this is the A cover. And let's see, what other covers do we have? So the A cover was the Brocardo variant, and then the B cover is the Andolfo variant. Then we have a Momoko cover.
Gotta have that Momoko.
Quite different for her, too.
Yeah, very dark and subdued.
And there is a virgin and black and white cover of that one as well. If you go to Previews World, you can see what that looks like. And then lastly, I have a Stefan Sajic cover who did Harleen. And many other things, so really nice there as well.
He's the master of doing like dragon and like monster things. It's incredible, and I love that cover.
There's also a blank cover available as well, so go check out Previews World for all that. And I think you can see, no, you can't, never mind, there's a little trailer on the Previews World as well, so you can check that out.
It's funny, it's like all the artists who are also good creators and writers in their own behalf got together on this one, because Andolfo, Momoko, and Sajic, I've read all their stuff that they've done, and I mean they're great artists. It's like they get together and they're like, creators who do art and writing unite. Let's all do covers for a book.
There are some preview pages of this online. I know at least Mirka Andolfo herself has posted some, so if you want to check it out,
Google it.
Google it. Next is a one I didn't even. I had seen the title. I knew nothing about this. One, I did not know. This is Fear Case by Matt Kent. So, I mean, Matt Kent, master storyteller. Yeah. Definitely, if you like writers like Jeff Lemire, very interesting. Like, they have a voice in storytelling. But also, I had no idea what this was about. And I researched it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the craziest idea. So there is this box called the Fear Case that has popped up in places of disaster and tragedy throughout time. And whoever like picks it up or is the bearer of it needs to get rid of it within 3 days or something terrible happens to them. So there is this kind of hard-boiled detective and his new age partner try to track down the Fear Case and learn the secrets of it. Also, while they're being pursued by a psychotic cult and otherworldly forces that may have been part of the kind of creation of this fear case. So the art's by Tyler Jenkins. If you read Grasslands, he was the artist for that. So very interesting, a little watercolory style art, but really, really cool. Very fitting for this story. But I'm really excited about this. I think like the description of like
that sounds awesome.
This box that pops up and everything.
I read everything Matt Kent does. He really puts a lot into his work.
Yeah.
And he always has his really original ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they charge them more for printing this because of all the black.
It's gonna be heavy.
You're using a lot of ink.
I think there's a few variant covers for this. So first up we have the Fregretto cover. I think that's Duncan Fregretto from Hellboy. And then we have the Francavilla, which Francavilla, man, so good.
Yeah.
Everything he does looks like it'd be the coolest like crime novel or poster or something.
Yeah.
So cool.
Okay, so another indie from Boom Comics. This is called Luna. So they didn't have the trade dress on it, but this is the cover. It is a 5-part series that is a thriller by writer and artist Maria Levette. It has to do with immortality, magic, and alchemy in the late 1960s, which, I was not around for the late 1960s, but, you have these conversations with your friends on if you had to live in a past time. That's towards the top of my list. Mm-hmm. I love the music from the era. I like the style from the era. So I think it's just... What?
Yeah, hippie.
So anyhow, it has to do with this sun cult. And there's this girl who keeps having these prophetic dreams that she describes as divine, and like it gets her closer to divinity. And dealing with this cult kind of pulls her closer to these dreams. So that is what I know of it. It has a great variant by Jenny Frison.
The variant.
Ooh.
So.
And Maria Levitt has done things like the graphic novel, was it Loud? And Faithless.
Mm-hmm.
Very, I think I don't know if I've read anything that she hasn't also written herself. Very interesting style. A little on the like European edge of style of comics, but very original, very cool.
All right. And that was Luna, number 1 of 5.
All right, so this also doesn't have the trade dress, but it will once it comes out. This is Spectre Inspectors. This is another one from Boom Studios, and this is definitely very much a Scooby-Doo story. So lighthearted horror. And if you don't know, Boom is the studio that released Something's Killing the Children and all that. Very well-established company. I don't think this is going to be anything like Something's Killing the Children. Much more lighthearted, but like I said, they live that Scooby-Doo life, is what the preview said. So they actually head to a town that is supposed to be like the most haunted town in America to prove that ghosts exist. So pretty cool premise. They're trying to, I guess, prove to the world that what they're doing is legitimate. It's a 5-part series, and it's oversized, so each issue, just like I think Wind, and they've been doing that.
What's
more.
that one from this last week? The Last Witch.
Last
Witch was also that. They're great. Like you get a whole lot of story.
Good way to start it out.
Yeah,
great way to start.
30 pages of story in each issue, and most comics are 32 pages, and that's also filled with a bunch of ads. Mm-hmm. So this is 30 pages of story. Looks super cool. So I'm gonna check that one out. Okay, covers. Yes, this is the homage variant. What homage is this?
I'm not exactly sure.
Scooby-Doo?
To tell you the truth, I mean, I get a Scooby-Doo vibe, but I've watched tons of Scooby-Doo.
Maybe the artist's last name is Homage.
Please let us know in the comments if you know who the artist for, or I'm sorry, not the artist, but what the homage is for Spectre Inspectors number 1.
All right, so now we're going to get to the next part of the show where we go over other number 1s and just sort of notable covers, just covers that we think are cool.
Who wants to go first?
I'll begin. So this is Avengers number 42. Yes, there is another Alex Ross.
This is crazy.
Variant. I thought they were done. I was so sad, but No, he has. I think this is the last one, though, if I'm not mistaken. But what a last one!
It's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
That is really good. So this is your chance. This is open order. You can still order this and get it guaranteed at cover price. So this is Avengers number 42, the Alex Ross Hawkeye Timeless variant. Also with Avengers 42, they are doing the Blade variant for Black History Month.
Cool.
February is Black History Month, so there's going to be a lot of cool variant covers that Marvel's going to do in honor of that. So I like that one a lot. Blade. And lastly, for Avengers 42, there is this Weaver connecting cover.
Oh my god.
So real quick, for those of you who don't know, the current storyline in Avengers is that the Phoenix Force has come to Earth and has announced that it's holding sort of a contest to see who is worthy to become the next Phoenix. And Marvel has been kind of saying, hey, everyone, pay attention, because at the end of this, there's going to be a new Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what character. It's already been in Captain America. It's been in Doctor Doom. It's been in Black Panther. And it's trying all the characters to see who's worthy of the power. So here's a really cool connecting variant. It connects with others that are upcoming. That are going to be different characters in the Phoenix with the
Captain
Phoenix
America
Force.
needs it. He just looks awesome with that. A flaming shield. That is something I've never seen.
I just don't think he'd accept the power, because the power fights the user to some degree.
Yeah.
Captain America doesn't really like to be told what to do so much. He's a team leader, not a...
Maybe he'll go in Captain America's mech suit. It's a crossover.
All right.
Next up, we have a continuation of the Alien month covers. We have Immortal Hulk, the Declan Shalvey cover. This is a fight. I don't know what direction it would go.
I mean, I don't think the alien has a lot of chance against Hulk ultimately, but I think the alien's like, you might squish me, but you're going to have a tummy ache.
I was about to say, like, Hulk punches him, but then the acid blood, that's going to do a number on him.
Yeah, I mean, he'll raise from the dead.
Oh, that's true. He's got that immortal thing going. But I love all these covers. They're so cool.
All right, this is funny. The description of this says classified, but this is Nonstop Spider-Man #1. This is a die cut variant, and I wonder how it's going to be die cut exactly. But if you guys remember, I can't remember the issue before, but they did have the Spider-Man die cut, the Chip Kid, where they had Spider-Man's like eye swooping, and that was cut out. It looked awesome. The die cut covers are really unique, and they're a really cool part of your collection. But Nonstop Spider-Man short box came out last week, and now we're getting this.
Yep.
So
they haven't quite said what the series is going to be
yet. That's why I
yet.
said classified.
But I can't explain further. So you see everybody around Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
So the die cut, I have seen it. It's all white. It's just Spider-Man, and the rest is white. And so when you
Well, showing a computer on a computer.
Doesn't that go into infinity?
Yeah.
So when you open the cover, Spider-Man remains, and you get to see all the other characters, but the die cut is going to be just sort of white around him. They always look so much cooler when they're in your hands.
They really do.
Now, this is interesting. So, this is for #1.
Yes.
But the regular
are not up for FOC. So for them to do the die cut process, they have to get the order in earlier, about a month earlier. So this is your chance to order this now and be guaranteed to get it. But yeah, they're making us do the order much earlier than the rest. I don't think the series drops till I think beginning of March.
Yeah, so it's a while out, but you can go ahead and order the #1 today.
Yeah. So. So this is the variant, the Sprouse Empire Strikes Back variant for Star Wars #11. It's just a classic scene.
Yeah.
So, you know, had to put that on there. So for those of you who know, I mean, Star Wars is just huge right now. Don't want anybody to miss out. If you want this classic scene on a cover.
Lando checking to make sure that Han's not dead.
Yeah, feeling a little bad about what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Next up, we have the variant for Rorschach #5. This is the Dennis Cowan variant. I love all the variants for Rorschach. They've been doing some really cool ones.
And Senkowitz helped a little with this one, too.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell with the inks, the scratchiness of the inks and with the rain and everything.
Yep.
Really cool.
All right, this is G.I. Joe Real American Hero Yearbook #1. This is actually a reprint that tells see my country coming out. Anyway, it features some older material and some newer material alike. So definitely cool. And I believe there are actually just this one cover for this, and it is a $5.99 issue because it will be a little bit bigger. So if you're a G.I. Joe fan, you won't want to miss this one.
This is Marvel Action Captain Marvel #1. And as you can see, I believe Spider-Gwen is going to be making an appearance in it as well.
She might show up.
So yeah, these are just sort of the all-age versions of characters. So this is #1 for all you Captain Marvel fans out there, or Spider-Gwen.
I'm excited about this.
Me too.
Because this was kind of the Transformers show that I watched the most of. This is Transformers Beast Wars. I believe, and there might have been a Beast Wars comic years and years ago, but we have not seen Beast Wars really have their own series as long as I can remember. So if you don't know about Beast Wars, they're Transformers, but they transform into animals. You have Optimus Primal, who turns into a gorilla. Megatron is a T-Rex, and then he has a T-Rex hand. I can't wait for this. I love Beast Wars.
Yeah, Rat Trap, Rhinox, Cheetar, and they said that there's going to be a new character in this. The new character is called Nyx. So I don't know what Nyx is going to be exactly, but
maybe like a duck.
Yeah, this also celebrates their 25th anniversary, and this is ongoing.
And that makes you feel old, because that was the first, not the first fully CG show, but one of the first completely CG shows, and it looks way better in your head than if you go back and try to watch some of the.
I don't know if you saw it, and this isn't comics, but I think the first CG show was Reboot.
It was Reboot. I love Reboot.
Yeah, Reboot was really good too. But yeah, Beast Wars is awesome. I'm really excited about this too. And I wouldn't say this makes me feel old. This keeps me young.
Oh, it means it's still relevant. You're still relevant, just like Beast Wars is still relevant.
Yep. And the premise is, I read a little bit about it. So Megatron, he gets a golden disc. It lets him go through time, and they have to follow him into time.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Cool. This looks very fun, and Dynamite has called this the most important comic to ever come out in the history of the universe. I have to say, Dynamite's been stepping up their game with Dynamite, Dynamite. So this is super cool because Red Sonja, and I gotta read this for all the different ones coming out. So this features Red Sonja, Blue Sonja, Green Sonja, Orange Sonja, Saint Sonja, Hell Sonja, and many, many more. So she has to travel across dimensions, and she must kill the other Red Sonjas, I guess, in a fight for her own existence. Perhaps so.
You thought that was just her name. No, apparently it's her. It's like she's
many.
like a Power Ranger.
As you can expect, there are a ton of variants for this, and I haven't even got to look at them, but I hope they highlight all the different possible... Okay, cool.
Yeah, Green Sonja one's really cool. Saint Sonja and Hell Sonja are also really cool. Apparently they're going to have a face-off. But definitely go in there and check out all the covers, because there's some really cool ones spotlighting the different Sonjas.
Yeah, it looks like it's ongoing, and if there is, like I said, any particular variant you want, let us know. But if you like the new direction that, I say new, but I don't know, it feels new.
Yeah, it feels fresh.
So, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
I only got a Sprite.
So yeah, pick this up. Looks cool.
All right. So, February brings us Valentine's Day. When you think of Valentine's Day, obviously you think of
kissing.
Vampirella. So this is Vampirella Valentine's Day one shot. And of course, they got Linsner to do the cover.
Look at that hunk behind her.
That's
wow,
right.
Wow.
Yeah. Hunk Dracula. Eat your heart out.
Literally.
It needs to be said. So, yes, this is Vampirella's one shot for Valentine's Day. So, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of humor in this, as we've already been spouting out about blood.
If they haven't used these jokes already.
Yeah, I want to see the candy hearts with the writing on it and what she would write.
Or they're just real hearts, but they say, like, be mine in them and stuff.
She gives one to Dracula that says, you suck.
For him, it's a compliment.
Yeah, he likes it. So there you have it.
Next up, we have Maniac, which is a new book from Aftershock Comics, who have also kind of had not a resurgence, but like now, since comics started coming out, they've really upped their number ones game and everything. Yeah. They've had a lot of new series coming out. So this is Maniac New York. There's I think there's some preview pages online for this. The art, the interior art looks a lot like this cover. It's a very interesting, almost pseudo Peach Momoko style, with the kind of watercolory, but looks really interesting.
I am interested in this one, and Megan, I think you might be, so I wanted to tell you about it. So the premise is there is a serial killer in New York who's been around for years, who is like sort of Michael Myers, he's unkillable. Mm-hmm. The police have tried to kill him. He will not die. So the cops have decided we're going to ignore him, and people in New York have to get used to the fact you could be serial killed at any moment, and the cops won't do anything because they've given up. So this new detective takes over, and she's like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm going after this person. All the other cops are like, you're crazy. We've already tried. I think it's a wonderful horror movie premise. Like,
it's like you extended Jason Takes Manhattan to like an ongoing series.
And it goes on for years and years. Yeah. What would the world be like if they had to deal with a killer who just really won't go away?
Mm-hmm. So you just get used to him. You just like wave at him as he walks past, and you're like, "Don't get me today."
It's a good cover. The cover to me is reminiscent of American Psycho a little bit somehow. But I read the premise and I was like, "Yeah, I'm digging that."
Okay, next up is Redemption. And this is from the company, it's actually Artists, Writers, and Artisans, Inc., but I think they're doing business as Upshot Comics, so you've probably seen some of their stuff out on the shelves.
Resistance.
Yeah, occasionally. So, Year Zero, a few other things. So, this is a Western post-apocalyptic tale. So, there you go. That sounds interesting to you? Go check it out on Previews.
Also, check out the variant. Do we have their variant? We don't have it on here, but there's a Frank Cho variant that's really cool with a big skull on it.
Yeah, they're fighting over water. Water's the final resource, which I like that when they ground something.
It's like the opposite of Waterworld.
Fight over land.
So, it could be a good chance, if you haven't yet, to check out something by a new indie publisher.
Okay, so this is Rick and Morty Worlds Apart #1. I'm not actually altogether sure what this one's about. I like Rick and Morty. I watch all the seasons, so I tend to check out the comics.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of interesting stuff with we had the D&D, the Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons crossover.
They go to hell.
Then there's
Ever After.
Yeah, that's the recent one where it's like a fairy tale. So it kind of looks similar to that, like going through different dimensions and kind of different.
And we know Morty
genres.
Loves dragons until Rick gets him over that. But anyway, for those of you who are Rick and Morty fans, that is starting up and available soon.
Okay, well,
here's a big one.
On a different part of the show now. So this is our number 2s, number 3s, reprints, and other stuff. So
I'm super excited about this one. This is probably my most look forward to King in Black tie-in is Gwenom versus Carnage. This is number 2, but we find out in this that Mary Jane becomes the Carnage. So it's like this weird Venom, Gwen Stacy versus Carnage, Mary Jane, the battle of the former girlfriends. And I don't know. The art looks great. The storyline looks awesome. And this is a 3-part series.
I hope Peter Parker shows up at the end of this and is just like, what the?
It's like, I'm out of this.
Yeah.
Y'all fight it out.
Okay, this is King in Black Return of Valkyries, #1 just released this week, and this is a 4-part series. So I think we still have plenty of the #1 if you need it, if you're missing it. Otherwise, don't sleep on #2 if you're a lot of people are trying to get everything King in Black, and this is a proper tie-in, as they say, or as we say. This is the A cover. And then we have the Nodo Valkyrie.
With Brunhilde.
That's cool.
Yeah, on the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the next Batman issue #3. This is the A cover by Ledron. Issue #1 just dropped. We had the chance to read it early. DC's been sending us early PDFs, and I thought it was fantastic.
You've read #2.
I read #2 as well, which is just as good as #1. I'm quite enjoying it. I like seeing this new Batman. I like that you get to see his sort of internal thoughts, and they're just so different than Bruce Wayne. anyway, so this is number 3. I've not gotten to read this one yet, though. They might be sent as a PDF soon.
Yeah, we got to check on that.
But this is sort of your wake up call. If you read number 1, you liked it, you still have time to sign up to get all the rest of them. Number 1 has sold out, not in our store.
Yeah,
we ordered up, but number 1 is going back to second print. This was just announced. So it's a big book. It's selling out places. So if you liked it, it's time to sort of jump on. Here is the B cover by Art Germ.
Nice.
Stanley Lau.
So cool.
Pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the next Batman, it was great because, they give him the full mask, which looks cool. It also hid his identity. I will say you might know who it is by this issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the whole plot line revolves around the fact that they've outlawed mass heroes, and it's like kill on sight. The police are going after them.
And so he says, "I'm going to put on even more of a mask
Correct.
than Batman."
Yep. Batman always the rebel.
Then we have Flash, Future State Flash number 2. This is one of the ones that's only a 2-parter. So this is the second part of the Flash Future State story, where who knows what's going on with Wally West. Maybe acting kind of crazy.
Yep.
And then we have the variant. This is the Kari Andrews variant, with kind of Flash with all of his gadgets he may have picked up from somebody.
Okay, next up we have Future State Harley Quinn number 2. This is the Derek Chu cover, the A cover. So yes, the one just came out this week. So don't forget to add it to your list because this is the last issue. It's just a 2-part series. A lot of people have been like, there's so many Future State titles, what am I going to do? Most of them are just 2 issues long, and Harley Quinn's one of them. So.
And look at that Scarecrow gas in the background.
Yeah.
Stinky.
That's the A cover. And then we have the Gary Frank cardstock cover as well. More gas.
Okay, this is Future State Superman of Metropolis number 2. What happens when John Kent becomes Superman? Superman is off in space doing other things. He's been gone for a while. Jonathan Kent's been Superman for a little while. It's really refreshing, once again, to read about a new Superman. Of course, unlike Next Batman, this Superman was sort of primed to become him at some point. But still, it's just, he's like him, but he's different.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So this is the A cover by John Timms. Here is the Inhook Lee B cover.
There's a lot going on in that cover where
all the pressure.
Yeah, you feel like all these different versions of Superman, and he's kind of cracking under the pressure of what they are. Then we have Future State Swamp Thing number 2. This is also a 2-parter. We just got part 1 this week of this far in the future Swamp Thing story. Also interesting enough, we know there's going to be a 10-part Swamp Thing story with a new Swamp Thing coming after all of these. I have a feeling that this is going to tie in with that a bit. Also, Swamp Thing is eclipsing the sun, which getting a lot of solar energy.
I think he's
from
absorbing
that.
It all. Yeah.
Photosynthesis. And we have the variant by Dima Ivanov.
Look what they're doing with the shadow. Kind of a skull.
Kind of a Swamp Thing skull.
Yeah.
All right, this is Future State Wonder Woman number 2, another 2-parter featuring Yara Flor. A lot of you came in and picked up Death Metal 7 this week because we had plenty, we ordered plenty, and that was her first cameo. And her first full was in number 1, and so this is number 2 of her series. She will also have an ongoing series after Future State. This is the Joelle Jones A cover.
Check out the variant.
And the Jenny Frison cardstock.
Very nice.
Looking
Love it.
Fierce.
Her armor is just awesome.
Yeah, we all read and we all quite enjoyed the first
Looks
one.
like her knife is made out of a screwdriver, which looks very painful. Like one of those drills.
So speaking of Future State, a lot of them have sold out, so they are offering reprints. You have up until Sunday to order these. They're only open order till Sunday. Let's go. Death Metal Deluxe Edition happens first. I got ahead of myself.
You got so excited about these, but this is the Dark Knight's Death Metal Deluxe Edition hardcover for only $29.99. If you want to read it all in one place, which I feel like I'll need to do now that it's over, that it was such craziness, to read it all in one go will be really cool.
I don't know if they'll do this, but with with Dark Knight's Metal, before it, the first hardcover edition was in foil, and that's the only time they did the foil.
Yeah.
So I assume they'll probably do the same on this. Okay, so back to what I was saying before. Future State has gone back to second print. They are sold out of a lot of them, and look at these awesome covers. So
they look like the design variants.
They are, yeah.
They do look like the design variants. So this is Future State, the next Batman #1, second print. Once again, they just announced it. This is probably the first time anyone who's watching the show has seen it, because we just got these.
Yeah.
Or we just got these images, and they're giving us till all of Sunday to put in our final orders. This is Future State, next Batman #2.
Yes.
They're making us order #2 second prints before #2 first prints are even here.
Wow.
Yeah. So getting cocky there, DC. But
Yeah.
I mean, considering how well Future State's done, I understand. This is Dark Detective #1 second print.
Which is not even out yet.
Correct. Dark Detective will be here next week. We do have quite a bit of those on order. But I mean, the second print, that's a great cover.
These will be like almost like how the Alex Ross covers, where it's like a variant cover series.
Yeah. Harley Quinn #1 second print. Also, Wonder Woman,
Very
Future
cool.
State Wonder Woman second print. So this is your chance to see them all, to tell us what you want.
Yeah.
And lastly, Swamp Thing #1 second print. So these are all the ones that have already sold out, or I guess with the ones that haven't come out yet, they're already getting reorders from shops. So there you are.
Very cool. Oh, whose turn is it?
Andy?
Okay.
I'll talk about this because this is
Wow.
really big, and it feels like we've been waiting to talk about this one for a while. This is Ninja Turtles: Last Ronin #2. Finally.
Can you believe it?
How long is this? This is a 5-part series. It feels like it may take the entire year to read the whole 5 parts, but it'll be worth it because #1 was so good. This is, of course, the Eastman and Laird coming back together to tell this crazy kind of climactic story of the last Ninja Turtle. I mean, if you know about comics, you know how insane the #1 was to even get, because it was underprinted. So if you're not on pull for this and you want to get it, just go ahead and tell us, because who knows what's gonna. Hopefully they'll print enough of this one, but we did get enough to fill all our orders from the last one, and we are playing
none for the wall,
and almost none for the wall. So let us know that you want to be on the Last Ronin series, or that you want the #2. Just let us know.
Notice that red mask color, like the old school
Turtles. He
is like series 1.
Yeah, love that.
This is super interesting. So this is Graphic Fantasy #1. This is a reprint of one of the most valuable and hardest to find Savage Dragon comics. So apparently Savage Dragon, his first appearance was in a fanzine.
Yep.
And it's almost unattainable by collectors or anybody out there, so they're reprinting it. So that's pretty neat. This is $9.99. It's also, so it reprints the book introducing Paul Dragon and a host of other new characters. So super cool. This seems to be the first time they've reprinted this. So pretty benevolent of you, Image. I'm proud. And this is obviously a variant cover, the Corona variant.
It's actually #2 because it was a 2-part story.
Nice. Okay. Yes. Cool.
Yep.
I'm
So
reading
they're
the wrong
also
thing. That's not the Corona variant.
They're also offering the #2. They're making us order them both together.
Cool.
Yeah. I think this is also interesting because currently in Savage Dragon, this Savage Dragon with the short fin has appeared and been like, "Hey, I'm Savage Dragon," and they're all like, "No, you're not. Your fin's too short."
Cool.
So this is actually pretty relevant to what's going on in the book right now.
The #1 is $10. The #2 is $6.
All right, so this is the cover for Last Witch #2. This is the main cover. Last Witch just came out this week. I read it. It was great. It's an all-ages boombox fantasy story about this little girl who goes to a witch's castle to steal something to prove she's brave, because it's the one night of the week that the witch leaves her castle to go eat kids. So she figures, I'll circumvent the witch. It's a great time to do that. I really liked the first issue. It was extra long, as Boom has been doing. It was like a 30-pager. and there's also going to be a variant. We don't have it, but we just want people to know if you really like Last Witch, you want it all, the variant is available. And I think that is our show for today.
Yay! It's the first Comics from the Future proper of the year after the holidays. Things are back to normal, so you will be seeing these videos every single Friday. If you have not already, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff so you don't miss the issues you want to get for the future. And Jason will put up some information on how you can order and contact us after the video. So yeah, send us a message, reach out to us, let us know what you think and what you need. And all that.
For those of you who join us on Facebook Live as we record this, thank you. For the rest who watch us later on YouTube, we really appreciate it. We just hit over 400 subscribers.
Woo!
I'm really happy about that. We've only been doing this for a few months. So onward and upward, trying to get to that big 1,000.
Excelsior.
All right, guys. Well, Happy New Year if we haven't said it to you already, and we will see you next week.